Hi, how's it going?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Doing good. This is my creator series. I kind of like to talk to different artistic people and some people that do different things. So I thought, why not a model? That'd be a good opportunity to talk. So
Yeah.
maybe you can just start with saying who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you do.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Kate, and I was born in Winnipeg, Canada, and I travel internationally for modeling for about a year now, year and a half, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you hop around between like Canada and like Colombia. Maybe talk about that, like some different of your spots that you kind of go to usually.
Yeah. So, basically, how did it happen? My first placement, I was in Asia.
What part of Asia? That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I was living in Thailand, and then this agency in Colombia had like DM'd me on Instagram, would you want to come and model here? So I sent that to my mother agency, and then within a couple of weeks, I was on the plane to Colombia, and then I spent half of the year in 2020 in Colombia working full time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How was that living there?
At first, it was very challenging because the language, I didn't know any Spanish at all, but in Colombia, they don't really speak English at all much, so I had to learn the Spanish language, and I did that. And then when I went back the second time, it was a lot easier because I had a decent understanding of Spanish. Yeah.
So how did you get started with like modeling?
So originally what had happened when I was in the 12th grade, I got like a DM from this agency in Canada, like here in Winnipeg, that had asked to like meet with me. So I went and met with them. I met with them in Winnipeg, and then I originally decided it wasn't for me at all. And then I just graduated high school. And then after I graduated high school, I was like in university and I was really poor, so I needed a job.
Yeah.
And then I met with some agencies in Toronto, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Maybe tell us a little bit about your like agency and how that works, maybe how jobs work and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So basically you have a mother agency, and my mother agency is Patty Falconer. And they will send your digitals. So what digitals are is like you in a bikini, and you do like a walk video and just like front, side, back. And they send these pictures plus your book, which is all the images that you've taken, to different agencies around the world, and hope that they want to sign you. And yeah, it's pretty much how it works.
Okay. How does it work with getting jobs? Do they like have like a job opportunity and they kind of send it to you or your manager and then you kind of accept it, or how does that work?
Yeah, basically it's different for every market. So when I'm in Colombia, most of my jobs are direct booking. So the clients will look at your book and choose a model based off of your photos. But a lot of places, like when I was in Asia, it's all casting. So you'd spend
tryout kind of.
Yeah, 10 a.m. till like 5 p.m. all day just going to castings, hoping to get. And then that gives the clients a chance to see you in person, and you try on the clothes and everything. So it goes both ways. It's either going to be direct bookings, which is more common in South America, Canada, and then in Europe, Asia, it's all castings.
Okay. And then I was also wondering sometimes, like as a photographer, how can you get involved with like an agency? So I know some agencies do multiples, like they'll have the photographers and the models. Or as a photographer, how would I reach out to the agency to get a model?
I know a lot of what happened when I was in Colombia is photographers would just send agencies like emails and saying like what kind of model they're looking for. And then the agency would send like photos of the models to the photographer that wants to do a test shoot. And then the photographer can pick. I also know there's a lot of agencies, like my mother agency has like in-house photographers.
Yeah.
So I think you just like email the agency and see maybe that's something they have. But
okay. And then now we can kind of talk about more of maybe the relationship between like you as a model and a photographer. What are some things you kind of look for in a photographer, maybe that would like, if when you're working with a photographer, would it be their attitude or like their style, maybe how they're directing you, stuff like that? What's something you might look for?
I look, this might be a pretty obvious one, but I look for photographers that aren't creepy.
Yeah.
I've had, I've had really bad experiences. This one time when I was in Miami, like I had to just leave because it was too uncomfortable. But yeah, definitely when you're shooting, you want to be comfortable with the photographer. That's my most important thing is like, I really stand my ground. So if I'm shooting with someone that's making me very uncomfortable, it's just not going to happen. Also, I do like when photographers kind of help direct me with posing because I mean, I haven't been modeling that long, to be honest. So sometimes it is a little bit awkward for me. So when the photographer, because they can see what's going on when they tell me what looks good, what looks bad, I really like that.
Okay, cool. What are some like maybe bigger or cool projects that you have worked on in the past, or even like big brands that you were able to kind of work with, or some of your favorite ones?
I think there's a couple. Like my 9 West campaign was probably one of the most exciting things that I had done. It was just it was one of my first like bigger jobs, as well as when I walked to New York Fashion Week. That's always something like that I will remember because the energy was just so special, and I got to meet so many bigger models that I look up to. And then the most recent one that I did a fragrance campaign for Avon. That was my last job before coming back to Canada in Colombia before the holidays. And it was just really cool. The whole idea and the concept behind it, I really liked that. So those are
cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you about runways and kind of stuff like that. Like maybe you can describe that, how it works, what you like about it, or what you don't like about it.
I think runway is definitely my favorite. I just, the energy backstage is something that I can't explain. Like it's so calm yet like not calm at the same time, and there's a lot of other models there. It's also like very short, so when I was walking New York Fashion Week, I'd have like the entire mornings free and I'd go sightseeing, and then call time would probably be around 5 p.m. for a show that's maybe like 8. And then, I mean, once you walk, you're done. So it's like very short and exciting. I love being on stage, and you just gotta hope that nothing goes wrong, because I've had so many times where I wear size 10 shoes and I've been squeezing into size 7.5, and I'm like,
wow,
how am I walking in this? But yeah.
How would you compare maybe like some of those bigger projects to some of like the smaller fun shoots that you might do just like for fun with photographers? How do they kind of compare, and like maybe like pros and cons kind of between the two?
I think how they compare is just with how long it takes, because most of the time test shoots only last, anywhere from an hour to a couple hours, and jobs, most of my call times would be 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. So I think that's one of the biggest differences. As well, I think with test shoots, it's more creative, right? So I have, input on what I'm shooting and the attitude and the posing. When it's a job, it's, you're there to do a job how they want it. So I like test shoots because I can give a little more of my own input and get photos that I want, not just for the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you prefer working like indoor with like studio or more like outdoor, would you say?
I prefer working in studio just because I had jobs where I'd be outside all day long. I mean, I'm still kind of sunburnt. Oh my God, I'm so red. So like I'd go and shoot all day outside and come home and be really sunburnt or freezing. There was one shoot I had, it was outside and it was raining and it was very cold. So I prefer in studio because you don't have to worry about the weather.
Yeah, I work a lot outside just because I live in Florida. It's like beaches. That's what I like. But yeah, you definitely have to fight the elements. Sometimes sunny, sometimes cloudy, rain comes in, wind. You never know what's kind of happening. But it's kind of fun for me it's still a challenge. Like, you know what I mean? What can we do now? I kind of like that. But I haven't done much studio a couple times. I just haven't set up my eye for like studio that much. You know what I mean? I just haven't practiced as much. I haven't done as much, but I definitely want to do that more, especially like video, because you can like control everything multiple takes, you know what I mean? Like little videos
Yeah.
like that.
I do like the way outside photos turn out better for the most part, but it's just easier for me to work inside.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way outdoor photos look better, so it's a little bit of a situation.
Yeah. Let's talk about your style, maybe of what you like for photos. How would you kind of describe your style? What you'd like? I guess, yeah.
I personally like photos of myself when I get them back with very natural makeup. Like I don't like when there's too much dark.
I'm the same way. I tell most of them, my models, to wear no makeup or very minimal,
like,
just because I have a very, like, I guess, retro or vintage style. So I don't want like as much modern. Sometimes it's cool if you do like some different type of makeup that looks like kind of cool. If you're going for like a whole like funky style, I guess you'd say.
Editorial,
that can be a cool thing, but generally especially if I'm outdoor, beach, it's very natural.
Yeah, I agree, and I also like natural light. I think whenever I get photos with harsh like studio lighting, oh god, not for me. I prefer natural. Everything natural, really. It's my favorite.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So one thing I asked you to do is like to pick a photo, and then we can tell like a story behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of have two because the most recent shoot that I did, I didn't get the photos back from it yet because it's for Avon fragrance campaign, which will come out in a couple months. So I saw the photos, but I can't share. But that was my favorite with the story behind it because there was 3 models, and we each had a different fragrance. So mine was the love fragrance. There was a wild, like a girl that represented the wild fragrance, and then the fresh one. So it was really cool. We had each like a colored pillar or something we stood in front of, and then we shot some stuff in like the jungle kind of. It was really cool. But a photo that I actually have and that I've posted is my editorial for our Jaramo magazine in Spain, and there wasn't so much a full like beginning, middle, end story like the campaign, but the title was Warm. We did also a fashion video for it, and it was just the whole idea behind it was just like simply like it was just me, like no makeup, hair, anything. I didn't have any of that, so it was literally just me showing up as myself, and I was just like lost in Mexico where we shot it, and it was just warm and happy and simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share my photo now. So I took this during one of my shoots right here. It's on the roof. So I always, I guess you could say, go to spots that might not be allowed to go to, but they are like the coolest spots that you go to. And I mean, when you're just like walking and exploring. So we found this really cool like rooftop spot, and then the sun was setting over the trees. So I thought it was really cool. It's like the natural glare, and I just like kind of how it looked. You could kind of tell. It was challenging for me to kind of how to show that we're actually on the roof. So I thought it was cool that they had like the street lights right there, and you kind of see that we're pretty elevated, and I thought it was just really fun for me to that kind of style as well.
That's so cool. That's in Miami.
So Palm Beach.
Ooh.
Palm Beach, so pretty close. So like, what are some of your favorite places that you have been able to visit due to your job?
My absolute favorite, I don't think this will ever change, but my very favorite is New York City for sure. I'm definitely more of a city person opposed to beach and warm weather, although I did like Miami and stuff, but my favorite is for sure New York. For sure. It'll always be New York.
Yeah. And how has your job kind of been affected due to like the corona and stuff like that for you?
Oh man, it's I'm very blessed that I'm still able to, like, I was just in Colombia, and I'm blessed that I'm still able to be going places, but it is challenging making sure I have everything lined up. So every time I go to the airport, I need to have a negative coronavirus test within a certain amount of hours, but it's really hard to get, and then filling out all the paperwork, and that's very challenging as well. There's a lot less jobs for models right now because, you can't gather in large groups of people, and usually when I'm shooting, the team is like a lot of people, so there's a lot less jobs right now, but I have been very fortunate. I feel very lucky, but those are just a few things that have been a struggle.
With all that travel information that you need, like all the tests and all that stuff, does your agency to tell you like what you need, or do you have to like research that, or how does that work? Because I was looking to travel, and like every country has like different rules, so I'm just like I have no idea what's going on, and then it changes every week.
It keeps changing. So like I get informed about certain information, but then I go back and check, a week later, and it's completely different, and I'm just a little confused. But for the most part, they tell me like what's going on, but I do have to be very mindful and make sure that I know for myself exactly what's going on. So
cool. All right. Do you have any maybe tips or tricks or anything like that for like new models that might be starting out, how to kind of get signed with the agency, or kind of just to like find your niche, I guess you could say, to make sure that you're kind of doing projects that you like to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think the most where you want to start is making sure that you have really good digitals, which is again the pictures in a bikini, front, side, back, and like a video of you walking. And if you do not have an agency already, I think your best bet is to email them or like apply on their website and then send in your digitals. Also, you need to have like a really good book. So shoot all the time, shoot as much as you can, get as many variety of photos that you can so that you have those to show to agencies. And another tip is if you're already signed with an agency and you're like working, if you're uncomfortable, say something, honestly, because when I was new in modeling, I would get uncomfortable all the time and I wouldn't really say anything because I didn't want to, I was just nervous about it. Definitely say something if you're uncomfortable, like, and if you're not told before a job what's going on, and then they're like, take your top off or something, you don't have to do it. Don't do it. Just if you're uncomfortable, don't do it.
Yeah, I think definitely I can notice that because it's a team effort. It's not just like, oh, the photographer takes the photos. Both people kind of have to be like, have a connection and be comfortable and be working good, because it kind of shows afterwards. You can see the photos. If both are like really working well together, you kind of see that like the vision of the photographer goes through to the model, and that's the photo, the final result. But if there's like a misconnection or someone's uncomfortable, then it kind of just like it takes it down a notch. You know what I mean?
It's really, you can really tell the model's attitude through the photos and how they were feeling. So I think that's my biggest tip is don't do it if you're uncomfortable, because then you're just going to be thinking about it for so long after. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I could have you on here. I think we covered so much stuff. I think it was cool to get someone from a different country as well as a model instead of like another photographer. Kind of has a different view. So maybe you can just kind of tell everyone where they can find you, your Instagram, maybe if you have like a website or anything like that, you can kind of say that below.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at KateJessie7. That's really the only social media I use. I use Twitter, but not really. Yeah. Like Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm still hoping to go to Canada soon, so I will let you know. Once they're open, Canada, I'll go. Canada's not allowing Americans, so
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so once they're open, I wanted to go. So I'm kind of working on some little things here. I'm going to San Diego next week, going to do a few projects. I was planning to go to Europe because a couple countries are open, but then now the new strain just totally locked it down. So I literally had to cancel all my trip like 2 weeks before. Everything.
I'm supposed to go to Italy. I'm going to Italy, but I'm very, very stressed.
So I'm figuring out some options. What I actually have a possibility is I can get my Italian citizenship.
Oh my God.
If I get that, then I can like do whatever. So I'm trying to figure out like you have to like get paperwork and find like your like grandma's birth certificate and stuff. So we're kind of figuring that out. But that could be a good way.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thank you for coming on here. It was my pleasure. I will see you around.
See you. We have to shoot. We have to shoot.
Yes.
I'm back in Florida.
For sure. Whenever we're in the same area, we will make it happen.
Literally.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.